Sifter for the ear.
News, interviews, reviews, cinema, TV, streaming. Action.
Hi, y'all. This is Jerry Williams, a.k.a. TV Jerry. Good for Her is a monthly film fundraiser series that celebrates femme rage in film. They've raised more than $18,000 for local community organizations. They're presenting their As You Wish series every Saturday in June at Agecroft Hall and Gardens, as well as other screenings at Studio 23, Banditos, and Star Hill. I'll include a link to their website on the webpage for this show at TV Jerry.
She was our most famous poet for a long time, and yet completely elusive.
I think she was always a beatnik.
Mystic. She's radical.
It was shocking. I was a girl in Ohio, and I wanted to write poems. Unheard of.
She was an independent woman who wrote the poetry she wanted to write, who loved who she wanted to love.
That was an excerpt from Mary Oliver, Saved by the Beauty of the World, a documentary on the acclaimed poet, which was produced and directed by local filmmaker Sasha Waters. Longtime listeners may remember her previous visit on the show in 2022 to talk about her other documentary, Gary Winogrand, All Things Are Photographable, and I'll include a link to that interview on the webpage. This new documentary will air August 26th on the PBS series American Masters, and we're going to go deep into making the film, including getting interviews with Steve Carell, John Waters, Oprah Winfrey, and Helen Bonham Carter, among others.
Sifter Review of the Week.
Office Romance on Netflix. After several impressive comic and dramatic performances, including Ted Lasso and Shrinking, Brett Goldstein confidently steps into his first leading man role. He proves his comic charms as a writer and actor. Jennifer Lopez plays the CEO of an airline, which has the usual anti-fraternization policy. Goldstein is one of her staff lawyers, who puts that rule to the test. Although this story runs through the expected formula, several things set it apart. In addition to Goldstein's appealing performance, this may be the best thing Lopez has done, and the rest of the ensemble is often fun. Tony Hale's HR rep is the hilarious highlight, and stick through the credits for his funniest scene. There are unexpected broad moments accompanied by generally smart writing. Director Ole Parker, whose last film was Ticket to Paradise, has again nailed the comic rhythm, including several laugh-out-loud moments. The film isn't breaking any new ground, but it adds a new winner to this genre that proves genuinely appealing and often funny. I gave Office Romance 4.5 out of 5 stars. Sasha Waters, welcome back to Sifter for the Ear. It's been a couple of years, hasn't it?
It has been a couple of years. I'm kind of a slow filmmaker.
First of all, is Pie Shake your company?
Pie Shake is my company.
And where'd that name come from?
It came from a very special treat in a cafe, or really a diner in Iowa City called Hamburgin No. 2. And a pie shake is a slice of pie and some vanilla ice cream thrown into a blender.
Oh, wow.
So when I lived in Iowa, I started calling my company Pie Shake, and I just stuck with it.
Sounds delicious.
It's very good.
On our last interview, you also mentioned that sometimes between your long-form documentaries, you do short films. You still doing that?
4 short films since that time. So those play in film festivals, museums,
Right.
curated screenings, community screenings. And I love that because, when you make a short film, a programmer looks at it and thinks about what it's in conversation with. So whenever you see it, it's in a program with other short films. So it's always a different experience because you're seeing it in the context of, other short films and what it's in dialogue with. So I really love that experience.
Let's move to the reason we're really here, Mary Oliver, Saved by the Beauty of the World. What inspired you to do that?
So Mary Oliver is an artist whose work has been really meaningful to me for a long time. I'm pretty sure I first discovered her the way so many people my generation and other generations discovered different poems and poets, which was through Garrison Keillor's The Writer's Almanac, which used to air on National Public Radio every single day.
Yep, an excerpt from that's in the documentary, too.
It is, yeah. And it's that particular poem, which is really close to my heart, called When Death Comes. And so that was really the first poem I can remember hearing by Mary Oliver. And I just kept going. And the poems, but also the essays are really important. She has a collection of essays called Upstream, which is really, really beautiful. And it's, in fact, the essays are a way, like she has these meditations on other writers like Edna St. Vincent Millay, Walt Whitman, Edgar Allan Poe, and they're really a beautiful model how for a writer or any artist might kind of be in conversation with their peers across time and space.
Right. And obviously you already had a good start because you had the Winogram documentary already. So I guess that made it easier to kind of get started into creating this one and contacting people.
I mean, in terms of the experience with making a feature-length documentary, certainly
Right.
this was a different process because it was a co-production with American Masters. And so we worked together from the very beginning in terms of the research and development. We wrote the National Endowment for the Humanities grant together. And so they administered that grant. But it was less piecemeal in terms of putting the money together. I mean, and then it became more piecemeal because we got doged, but I don't want to get into that. It was a new process, though, too, because I worked with a co-editor for the first time, which was
Right.
just one of the best experiences. But certainly, like having that experience of doing a biographical documentary was helpful in terms of coming to this one as well.
So you didn't have to do a Kickstarter this time.
I did not have to do a Kickstarter this time.
I want to sidetrack for a second. You said working for the first time with another editor. How was that? You said it was great. How was that different?
I loved it. It was the best. I mean, it was kind of a crazy workflow because she's in Chicago. And so we had these mirrored drives. We each had a physical hard drive with all of the media on it. And then we would share Premiere project files back and forth. You know, it's just, so much you can do by sharing project files or sharing spreadsheets and Google Documents with notes and so on and so forth. So we would have these elaborate spreadsheets. They were almost like blueprints or maps, like not hardcore, like this is exactly what we're doing. But she would work on one section and then I would work on it and then hand it back to her. So we would work on different sections at different times, essentially. But she was quite brilliant. So I really loved.
Surprise guest drop in.
Now, I got a million more questions, but as you probably know, I like to have surprise drop-ins, and I've got somebody from your past who wanted to drop in to say hello.
Oh, who could it be? Hi.
Footnote.
Justin James Reed is a photographer, researcher, professor emeritus at VCU Arts, and the founder-director of Lights in the Sky, a fine art gallery in Richmond.
Well, hey, Jerry, nice to see you. And Sasha, lovely to see you as well.
Have you even seen this movie yet, Justin?
You keep teasing me. You keep saying you're going to share it with me.
You know what? I'm going to write myself a note. I got to send you the link. I wanted you to see it in the theater, but I will send you the link. Okay, so Jerry, I have to tell you, Justin is thanked in the credits because he did something. It's like one of those things that you might think seems so small to like a non-filmmaker, but was really critical. There's this poem in which Mary Oliver talks about her mother as blue wisteria. It's the first line of the poem. She says, "My mother was the blue wisteria." And so it was like this time of year that I knew blue wisteria was in bloom in Richmond, but I'm a city girl. I'm from New York, so I didn't even know what it looked like. So Justin told me, oh my God, there's this place with all this blue wisteria. You have to go film it. And I went and I filmed on 16 millimeter. I filmed probably like 200 feet, which is about 6 minutes. And it's in both the opening 10 minutes of the film, and then it comes back near the end of Mary's life. So that was really critical. Justin, my blue wisteria location scout. Thank you.
So how do you know each other, Justin?
Sasha was my chair in photography and film at VCU. We both started right at exactly the same time, actually, way back in 2012. So that's how we were originally introduced.
So I was his boss, but then later he was my boss.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. How did that happen?
He just surpassed me.
Well, that can get to my story that I'm going to tell about Sasha, Jerry.
There you go. Please do. Yeah, we're ready.
I don't know what the story is.
I know. After Sasha gave me that lovely introduction, here I go. I'm just wondering what's like circling through Sasha's mind right now.
Terrified. I'm so scared.
Well, I was speaking with a mutual colleague this morning, actually, trying to recall some things. And one word that they used when talking about Sasha was relentless, which I think is very applicable. But this same colleague, who will remain nameless, Sasha is someone who cannot stop working. She is tenacious. She is always working on something. And I think that if she doesn't have a really big project going, she's probably a little bit unsettled. That's always the impression I've gotten of you, Sasha, is that you you always like to have a few things going on so that you can stay busy. But because of this, she kind of works a little bit like clockwork in this regard, depending on the season. So if there was like a big award that was going to be announced, a class that was going to be scheduled, certain benchmarks, in the academic calendar, Sasha would routinely come in at the same time of year with the exact same kinds of feedback, we'll call it, to the point where we were joking, and this is actually pre-AI, but we were joking that if we took all of her emails and put them into an algorithm, we could like predict exactly what she was going to say on what date at which time of year.
This is true. I think this is a really good point. I am a little bit cyclical in this way.
Yeah. And I would say more than anything, Jerry, I think it really speaks to her passion. I think just her kind of, our colleague used this term, relentless. But that drive, I think, is what's really fueled her success. And especially, I think that's really come to fruition with this latest film that I've yet to see, but I'm very excited to see.
I have a Post-it right here. Send link to Justin.
But of course, I'm hearing about all of the showings that she's having, the wonderful, wonderful reviews that she's getting, which is just so well deserved because, yeah, she just works tirelessly on this stuff and it's really impressive.
What are some of the best memories you have of back in the good old days at VCU with her?
Yeah, I mean, Sasha, I will still say to this day, is the best boss I've ever had. She was extremely supportive, was always there for us, very much had our back, maybe even to a fault.
Maybe to a fault.
But no, I feel very lucky to have worked with Sasha. I think that we might both agree, although I have left VCU a few years ago as a full-time professor, I think we were really there at a very special time. And I think part of that had to do with the connection we had and just the wonderful kind of department that we were able to build together, which was lovely.
Are you making films? What are you doing?
Oh, so I'm a photographer by trade. So I am working on a photography project right now that's going to be debuting at Candela Gallery here in Richmond.
Great.
Now Candela Photo Arts. They've just done an official rebranding.
But you've got to talk about your gallery too, Justin.
But that show will be opening in November, along with the publication of work that I've been making over the past few years. And then, as Sasha mentioned, I also opened my own gallery earlier this year. It's called Lights in the Sky. It's on Robinson Street, right in the Fan. We're in between shows right now, but the next show is with an amazing artist from Wales named Anna Vigers. And that show is going to open on summer solstice.
Well, Justin, thanks for dropping in and giving her a little surprise.
Thank you for the invitation, Jerry. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to catching your full discussion when this all comes out.
Okie dokie. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right, you guys. Have a great day.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, back to Mary Oliver. And of course, the film opens very wonderfully and surprisingly with Stephen Colbert.
It does.
How did you get him?
So Stephen Colbert on his show a little over a year ago, in April of 2025, one evening he had Michelle Williams on as a guest and they were talking and they started talking about poetry. And he said, I send the poem The Summer Day by Mary Oliver to my children on the first day of summer every year. And like 5 people texted me or sent me a clip and people were like, oh my God, Stephen Colbert loves Mary Oliver. So it turns out that I actually know someone in common with him. I reached out to this friend and I said, can you please help me figure out how to get in touch with Stephen Colbert? Because I found that there are a few different celebrities in the film.
We're going to get to all of them, believe me.
Yeah. So one of the things I found was that, you can go on IMDb Pro and find the name and contact information for people's agents and managers and so forth. It's really hard to break through because I'm sure they get a billion emails a day. In almost every case, it really was like through someone I knew or through some other weird connection or roundabout way. And so with Stephen Colbert, that was the case where I just asked this friend of mine who forwarded it to one of his people, and then we were able to make it work. And it was just phenomenal because we got to film in the green room at the Ed Sullivan Theater.
Oh, cool.
And the crew who work with him and work on the show were just incredibly accommodating, so helpful.
Oh, so they shot it.
No, we brought our crew.
Okay.
But I mean, in terms of I brought Tyler and Janelle from Departure Point Films, who are both my former students from VCU.
Footnote.
I'll include my podcast with Janelle and Tyler about the documentary they shot on the webpage for this show at TV Jerry.
It was really special. He's the way he seems in the film. He's a really direct, genuine, thoughtful person. So I don't know if he's seen the finished Mary Oliver film yet, but I hope he has. So
he recited that poem by memory, right? He was not reading
No, we
much?
had a teleprompter for all of the poem readings.
Oh, you did? Okay, because everybody was so perfect. I'm like, wow, these people really know these poems. But
No, we had a teleprompter for everything.
That makes sense. So he did, and a number of the other people we're going to get to in a minute were standing for their interviews as opposed to sitting in a chair. What was your theory behind that?
Jerry, that is such a great question. I teach advanced documentary almost every year, not quite every year. And I showed a clip from that Werner Herzog movie, Grizzly Man.
Footnote.
Grizzly Man was a 2005 film directed by Werner Herzog about a bear activist who had an untimely end.
I noticed that Werner Herzog interviews a lot of people standing up. Not everybody, but a lot. I saw that and I thought, oh, there's such an interesting energy here when you film someone standing up. And so for really long interviews, like you don't want to ask someone to stand there for more than an hour because it's not comfortable.
Right.
You want them to be able to kind of relax and move around and stuff. But for the readings, I wanted a different kind of energy. And so that's where that came from. I stole the idea from Werner Herzog.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good person to steal from. Well, let's talk about some of the other stars. Our mutual friend, Mr. John Waters, was in there. How did you land him? Obviously, he's a big fan of Mary and, well, was a big friend of Mary's.
Yes, he was a good friend of Mary's. He's actually not that hard to get in touch with. I sort of know people who know him and you kind of get in touch with him. And he said yes right away. That was actually the very first interview that we filmed because we weren't officially like fully in production yet. But I kind of knew that he was in a down cycle and was about to go back out on the road. And so I convinced WNET to give us some production money before we were we were still waiting to hear on our NEH grant. Because I'm in we're in Richmond and he's just in Baltimore.
Yeah.
We were able to set that up. And again, I went with Tyler and Janelle from Departure Point and we filmed that interview. And it was great too that it was the first one because he told us so much that I didn't know. And he was wonderful. And he has watched the film and we've talked about it. So that was really great. And I will hopefully see him in Provincetown next week at the film festival.
Oh, cool. And then, of course, there's Oprah. How did you land her? That's a big get.
I know. You know something?
And she was sitting down.
Right. And Oprah, I did not film. She filmed that herself and sent it.
Ah, okay.
So, I worked with her people. I sort of sent them screen grabs of what a bunch of our different interviews look like and said, we're either going for like libraries or solariums and so on and so forth. Here's the framing. This was an example where I literally emailed the 3 trillion contacts on her IMDb page. I did not hear anything back. But we use that interview that Maria Shriver did with Mary Oliver that appears in O Magazine. So I was in touch with the archive people to get permission. So I was emailing with them about archive-related stuff, and I said, by the way, I really want to get Oprah to read a poem for the film. I don't know who to reach out to. What should I do? And they were like, oh, we can ask her. So I was like, oh, great.
Oh, wow.
So it just happened that the people at her company, Harpo, were just very helpful and generous and helped out with that.
And then you just mentioned Maria Shriver.
She had spoken at Mary Oliver's memorial at the 92nd Street Y. And so
again, in the documentary.
It was through that I was able to get a contact for her assistant.
Like you said, you just had some people read poems. You had a local lady, Lucy Dacus, in there.
Lucy Dacus, yes.
Yeah. And Helena Bonham Carter popped up just to do that one poem. That was pretty wild.
Yes. So she was someone who I discovered was a Mary Oliver fan because there's a TikTok of her reading Wild Geese.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it's different in the UK. I don't know. I was able to find a contact and get through, and that was fine. I had to go to London to film it.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, that was really fun. So I went to London and hired a local crew, and we did film her reading a few different poems, and we did a couple of different setups with her, and so that was just for an afternoon. She was wonderful.
And then finally, Steve Buscemi.
And Steve Buscemi, too. I have a friend in common with him from 90s New York film world. He's not a big poetry guy, which he said in my little interview with him. But Mary Oliver's biographer, Lindsay Whalen, who's in the film, told me that she used to see Steve Buscemi at Mary's readings when Mary was still alive. So she was the one who said Steve Buscemi is a fan of Mary Oliver's.
Was there anybody that was a big fan that you knew of that you wanted that you couldn't get?
I talked to Natalie Portman's people at one point, but she was based in Paris, so that seemed a little bit too complicated.
Oh, come on, a trip to Paris? Come on.
I know. That would have been really cool. There were other people just in general who I really wanted to interview. I really wanted to interview the writer Hanif Abdurraqib. He's a wonderful poet and writer who's based in Ohio, and I wanted to talk to him about Ohio and writing from and about Ohio. And I just at a certain point ran out of time and space in the film. Even the interviews that I have, there's so much more people say, and that it's just so beautiful that we couldn't fit into the film. So
Now, speaking of beauty of the world, so much nature footage.
Yes.
Did you shoot all that? Was some of that stock? Did you send other people out to shoot it?
It's a mix. So a lot of all of the local 16 mil. It's hard to tell, hopefully. because it should kind of blend together at a certain point. So the 16 millimeter footage that's original from Provincetown and Beach Forest, I shot all of that on my camera. I don't think I have it here. I would show it to you, but I have a 16 millimeter hand cranked Bolex, and then a lot of it is also stock. And then I collect other people's home movies, which I know every time I say it out loud, I'm like, that sounds like a weird hobby. But so it's original 16, stock from archive houses, and then just stuff that I collect.
So even like some of the families and stuff like that, was that not Mary Oliver's family? That's
generic? Not Mary Oliver's family. The photos are, the footage is not.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. So some of the footage had the red overexposures on the side. Mm-hmm. Was that intentional, or was that actually exposed that way and you decided to leave it in, or was that an effect?
It was exposed that way. Whenever you shoot 16 millimeter, like my camera is older than I am. It's a really old camera. So there's always that opportunity for like mistakes, like hair or dirt or flashes, and so we could have punched in and cropped it out. We just decided we liked it, so we left it in.
Which brings up another question. Most of the photos were clean, and then there were a few that did have the black borders, and you could see that like all the information from the...
Yeah.
Why did you decide to leave those that way as opposed to cleaning those up?
Again, just to kind of give it that, grounded in that kind of authentic moment of like when it was taken, right? So I think in a lot of those cases, it's the photos by Molly Cook, her partner. So we wanted to sort of show that like it is this original film photography from the 60s and so on and so forth.
And now there were stacks of those fan letters that you had a montage of. Did you just find those from the archives? And
yes.
Tell me about that, because that was a lot of work.
I mean, a bajillion fan letters.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you asked about the archive. So the interesting thing about the archive is that Mary Oliver's archive is currently at the Library of Congress, but I had access to it before it was deposited there.
Which is easier probably too, right?
It's easier and harder. It's easier because I don't have to be physically at the Library of Congress,
right,
and kind of going through things one at a time with the white gloves on. But it's harder because nothing's processed or organized. I mean, it's a little organized. She wasn't like just willy-nilly throwing things in boxes, but it was a lot. So Lindsay Whalen, Mary's biographer, had about 35 boxes with her.
Wow.
And then they came to Washington, D.C., and they were in the offices of Bill Reichblum, who is Mary Oliver's literary executor and just a wonderful, amazing human being, who let me work in his offices for a couple of weeks. I had a huge flatbed scanner. I had this room to myself where I just would go through the boxes and scan and scan and scan about 12 hours a day. So I had to scan all kinds of things, even if I wasn't sure if I would need them.
You are resolute and committed. What was the word he used?
Relentless.
Relentless. Yes, you are relentless. You have that interesting segment where you have people who were middle school students when they wrote letters to her, and now they're adults. How did you find those people in the first place and find that happening? And then how did you get back on them to do the interviews?
So I found this folder with all these letters from this one particular 8th grade class at this middle school. I pulled them out and read them, and I saved the best ones, or not the best ones, but, like the ones that really I thought were so heartfelt and meaningful.
Yeah.
And then I did some very serious internet stalking, tracking people down on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, tracking down their parents. I mean, it was creepy. Like I was like stalking them. But then once I found like the teacher and then one student, we kind of got them all together. And so we were able to film that. They're in college now, so those kids were all back in Santa Barbara for winter break. We went in January. I love that scene. The broadcast version that's going to be on PBS is 10 minutes shorter than the theatrical release version. Yeah, and I fought to keep it in. I love it, but PBS cut it. So
So why do you like teaching?
I love teaching. I love it. I learn so much from my students. They're so funny and smart and curious. I love the energy that they bring. They really give me hope. I mean, I think people who are not around young people maybe have all kinds of weird, not very good ideas about them being cynical or sensitive, or I don't know, but
right.
All the young people I know, I mean, they're sensitive in the best way. Like they should be sensitive, right? Like it's like good to be sensitive. And so, I'm very inspired by my students.
And how do you fit the shooting in with the students? I mean, I know you got to teach, so you got to be there. I mean, do you just get your holidays when you go shoot everything, or does VCU let you have some flexibility?
It's hard. I mean, it's certainly hard. I did get some time off last spring because I had this deadline. it's certainly not something I could do every year or even every 3 years, like deliver a film for broadcast. It's very specific, and I don't know that I'll be working on a feature again anytime soon. Like, I really look forward to just kind of going back and working on the shorts for that reason, because it's really demanding on my time. And so I think the deadline-driven nature of certain kinds of partnerships with broadcast, it's really hard for me because I'm a slow filmmaker.
I think you just answered my next question was, what's your next project? So you don't have another one on the horizon?
No, I mean, I have different things that I'm working on in development, but they're pretty far out. I'm really interested in working on shorts. I have 2 different short films that I've filmed that I just haven't even had a chance to edit yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing some shooting this summer for a new little short project. I'm interested in just being really generative and, getting a few things done and out quickly, because especially right now, like I would say for the last more than 6 months now, I've really just been in this sort of non-creative part of finishing a film. Like, I'm delivering a movie. So since I did all my post-production at the Wexner Center, incredible space in Columbus, Ohio, I finished that in January. But since January, I have just been doing music cue sheets, doing visual cue sheets, making sure I have all my releases, making sure I have all my licenses. So I'm just doing this like logistical busy
producer
work.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah, very important producer stuff, but not creative. So I'm looking forward to just diving back in and doing creative work.
One question I always like to ask everybody at the end, when you're not doing your own projects, what have you been watching lately? Whether it's a movie, streaming?
Oh, that's a good question. When I was in Dublin, I saw Power Ballad.
Footnote.
I just saw Power Ballad myself, and we'll post my review on the webpage for this show at TV Jerry.
I mean, it's funny because I usually like to try and promote documentaries, but that happens to be the last thing I saw, and it's actually really cute and great, and my daughter loved it, so that was fun. I've been seeing a lot of really great documentaries. I'm looking forward to seeing a movie that I haven't seen yet, a movie called Adam's Apple, which is a film by my really old friend, Amy Jenkins. That's going to be at Provincetown Film Festival next week when I'm there. It's a film that she made over many, many years in collaboration with her trans son, starting when he was in high school. And so they made this film together, and hopefully they'll both be there.
Well, I almost called you Mary. Well, Mary, this has been, Sasha, this has been great to get you back on again, and congratulations on the film.
Take care. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
That was Sasha Waters, the producer-director of Mary Oliver, Saved by the Beauty of the World, a documentary on the acclaimed poet. It will air August 26th on the PBS series American Masters, and I'll have links on the webpage for this show at TV Jerry.
Coming soon. In theaters.
Disclosure Day. This new one from Steven Spielberg is said to be a sort of alien answer to his Close Encounters of the Third Kind, with Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor, Colin Firth, and the ever-present Coleman Domingo. Stop that train. So gay. Even the title has exclamation points after each word. This is a camp-infused drag queen-dominated comedy about a runaway train. It's from RuPaul's folks, with her playing the president, and directed by Adam Shankman, who's earned his camp credentials with the movie Hairspray. Jinsei is Japanese for life, and this animated film follows a man's journey through life while confronting modern social issues and personal struggles. The Furious. Also from Japan comes this non-animated revenge film about a father fighting kidnappers to save his daughter. Flag Day. Another father lives a double life as a counterfeiter and con man, while his daughter struggles to cope with his past. This film came out in 2021, directed by and starring Sean Penn with his daughter, Dylan.
TV and streaming.
Surviving Earth on Peacock. A Yugoslav refugee and harmonica player in Bristol builds a new life and forms a Balkan music band. They Will Kill You on HBO. Zazie Beetz plays a woman who becomes a housekeeper in a New York City high-rise, but discovers a satanic cult. I Am Frank Elda on Netflix. A 19th century Mexican writer journeys into her subconscious to face the monsters she's written about. Next week, the Fredericksburg Film Festival enters its 4th year, and we'll meet the founders and one of the filmmakers. This is Jerry Williams. Thanks for listening.
For more Sifter, including literally thousands of reviews,
visit tvjerry.com.
That's a wrap.